Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Do it again.
Go again.
I didn't get you. I told you to wait. Okay, that's good. You did your thing. You did. Sit down there, Charlie. Wait a minute. Go ahead. Hey, Charlie.
No, I tell you what, that's not, no, that's little fuzzy things on them. Look at made that way, isn't that pretty? That's pretty. Mm-hmm. Made the rock fall. He's pretty always got it. Dip on the bridge and look back at it to the valley. Okay, right there. Hold still, man. You're Charlie then. Hold still, Charlie. Want to get the flowers off? Have you ever seen that clear to you?
Take a picture.
First one to say that he's hanging some chairs in there.
Which is the couple?
Quite impressive.
Buttons, that's what it tests for.
Buttons. The signs are made with them. Look at these over here, these ladies on. That's pretty. Over here. I thought it was lace at first. Come up in here. Sorry? Mom's got a
Schematics or the blueprints for this engine. The other way that it's unique, it was carved towards the beginning of the Depression. Mooney carved it during the years of 1929 and 1930. At that time, the banks were closing across the nation. You could not real coal. That's one solid piece of black ebony carved and grooved to look like coal. If you press on a certain lump on the top of that whole pile then slides backwards, revealing an empty coal hollow beneath. Mooney used that empty space to store pocket change or family valuables. For years, this carving sat in the Werther's living room, and there was never a visitor that would have guessed the family bank was right there before them all. 1,000 individually carved pieces that make it up. In his prime, Mooney could carve about 1,000 pieces a month, so an engine of this size would have taken him just over 9 months to complete. He would get up in the early morning hours, 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and he carved on average 5 to 6 hours before breakfast. And Mooney's biggest secret as to finding time throughout his afternoon, 6 hours a day. Mooney's carving time averaged under 6. If you think about that, that means that all the carvings we're viewing throughout the whole museum, they were done in nothing more than America's TV time today. That's a pretty scary thought. The next carving here is the Great Northern. This was one of Mooney's favorites. There's many details here on this engine. On the front there is the little bell. That little bell swivels on its hinge. The bell rope then makes 3 dips or sways going back to the cab of the engine. That's the longest bell rope that Mooney ever carved. It is carved out of one solid piece of ivory, and it is carved to shape. The Great Northern logo there towards the back, it's coming around, the mother of pearl inlaid representing the northern sunset. The mountain goat is carved out of ivory, and they're both inlaid in the black ebony. That logo appears on both sides of the engine. Turning the engine have taken Mooney just over 7.5 months to complete, and he was 48 years old when he completed this carving. Around on this side, you again see the Great Northern logo. And take a look then at the detail there in the pipework under the cab of the engine. There's not a piece of pipe missing nor out of place. Down here at the end of our wall, we're going to talk about the new engine. They sent Mooney measurements, and they told him that when they completed the engine, they would send him a photo. Well, Mooney took those measurements and he began carving. As that carving took shape, he took a step back and looked at it. He thought it was the ugliest thing that he had ever carved. He said it looked too much like a diesel. Mooney said the diesels took the romance out of the railroad, and they had to completed this carving before the actual engine was ever finished. After completing it, Mooney did nothing more than tuck it away in storage. He thought it was too ugly to have people come through and look at. This piece wasn't brought out of storage until the family added onto the museum in 1988. I think if Mooney had been around at that time, this piece would have been left in storage. In the center of our room, we'll take a look at the Union Pacific Big Boy. The Big Boy was one of the last large this engine really is. The drive wheels themselves, they would stand to be about 6 foot high. The engine's about as tall as a 2-story home. That's why the little whistle there on the top of that engine is bent backwards, so the train could still fit through the tunnels and under bridges. It was 133 feet long, that's almost half the length of a football field. And it was designed to pull supply trains and troop trains through the mountains. That it could do. The Big Boy could pull a train 5.5 miles long behind it at about 60 miles an hour up through the Rocky Mountains. This piece is carved out of burled walnut and trimmed in ivory. Mooney completed it when he was 68 years old. At that time, he announced to friends and family that he was retiring from his carving hobby. He had accomplished his lifetime goal of carving the history of the steam engine, and Mooney did retire. As the next few years went by, he became more and more restless. It was 4 years later that his son approached him, suggesting that he carve some of the great events that took place in the American, and those are the carvings we're going to take a look at in our ivory room. So this time, through the double doors here, find a spot halfway down the ramp right along the banister, and we'll begin right there.
seats and everything. Look at this thing.
He completed at the age of 19, and it was 5 years later when he was 24 that he completed that second wall hanging. Each of those wall hangings are carved out of one. There at the vertical cage at the top of that center pane. Inside that cage is carved a ball inside of a ball. Never has that cage been good for Mr. Lincoln. Mooney began this carving on the 99th anniversary of the assassination of Lincoln and completed it just 1 year later on the 100th anniversary. And Mooney himself at that time, he was 80 years old. Go ahead and take a peek inside there if you're not already. There's much to look at. Chairs around it, a little stove with a coffee pot on it. And over on this right side, if you look in the two windows there above the eave.
Yeah?
I said I wouldn't tell you what to do. Picture of it.
No,
Joan, you didn't.
I got a little picture of it.
No, I couldn't get it fast enough. I'm gonna try again in a minute. I had my zoom lens on there.
Watch down, he may be up
Get
here.
your windows down.
Watch that
Okay.
kid. Watch those kids. He won't be around those kids.
Oh, they're playing there. You'd be on the ground, I don't see.
I don't see him. He's gone.
There's a one over here. See that one over in the bushes? Come here.
He's not as black.
Is this mine?
It's running.
I feel like it's a little track right into there.
These are boxes this size are pretty hard to find. I'm gonna say why. And there's one if you have to shop into Oslo Village, Mr. Bernard Roche, you know, they have one in the sweet shop. They did the last time I was there, which was many years ago. It's Oslo Village is nice. Yeah. And so is Zora. Yeah, Zora is not very nice. Songs on this was in the big floor area. Now this is the last of the original horse stalls. And a few years ago we turned that into a little tiny gift shop, and we've since expanded our gift shop. So this is a gift shop. If you need one, browse around, you're welcome to. Upstairs in the top of the carriage house is a place that was used for storage. They had a grant there for horses. The rest of it was all storage space. And I worked in here all we did for the first few years I worked here. It seemed anyway was move stuff from one to that carriage house to the other. But they got busy a few years ago, and there's an exhibit of things that were made in the steel mill, all different kinds of things over the years. There are 2 tower rooms where the stable boys slept, and you're welcome to go into those. Since you have the camera, one has an antique.
The youngest daughter. The other one's over. Follow me.
Jr., Mr. Reed's grandson. Now he grew up in the house next door, the big red brick house that's right next door to this one. This is his father, Sam Sr., the Reeves' only son. He was the oldest of their 4 children, and unfortunately he died when he was only 31 years old of typhoid fever, which wasn't uncommon back then. And he left behind a young widow and the 3 small grandchildren, and so that's when Mr. Reeves very kindly decided to build that big red brick house next door for his daughter. As I said, very, very wealthy man, wealthy standing in the area. And he was a real business entrepreneur. He owned the largest bank in the county, coal mines, just you name it, he had his finger in the pie. And he's part of it now, but they also painted all the rose-colored top in this fireplace. It was all covered with paint. Oh. Yes, it is. And there's the parlor, Regina, the other day, and we haven't had time for 2 too. This is our formal dining room, and again, all of this oak woodwork was covered with paint. Everything in here was painted except for the top of this china cabinet. The top of the china cabinet wasn't painted because it wasn't even in here. The decorator, for some reason, didn't like this china cabinet. He had the entire top of the china cabinet removed, and they found it stored up in the loft in the top of the carriage house in the hay. And didn't know it was up there, so they were delighted to find it, find out that it wasn't damaged. They cleaned it up, stripped it low to the floor. It's called a petticoat mirror. And it's low so that when ladies walk past, they can very discreetly check and make sure that nothing is shocking as their petticoats were showing. Yeah. They'd be surprised if they were around today, wouldn't they? Emily and we like to use it.
He looked like silk flowers across the room. I thought it was.
Isn't it beautiful? Yeah, I'll have to get that up and clean it. I'm usually the one that does it, nobody else wants to touch it.
Somebody was dying to know.
Well, I just 40s with those wonderful white metal cabinets, how attractive those things were. But these are the same style, they're right back in the same position as the original cupboards, so they're as close as we're going to get to the real thing. And over here we do have the original gas stove where the cook did all the cooking for this family. And we believe this is one of the earliest gas stoves in Tuscarawas County. Certainly it was one of the fanciest. We have 1, 2, 3 ovens, 6 burners, and an oven light. All changed over in the 40s. All our 7 stained glass windows were boarded over with plywood, all covered up. And we're just so thankful that they weren't knocked out and destroyed, because they could have easily done that too. And the beautiful break front there in the alcove, that carved oak break front, was another piece that was covered with white paint. That was refinished professionally. You can see when the amateurs want to tackle that. And this beautiful brass chandelier right above my head here was also painted white. The stairway over there was the one that goes up to the servants' stairs. You can see that. I always like to knock on this door because this is Mr. Reeves' library. When he was living here, this was his private retreat, and nobody was supposed to disturb him in here unless they knocked first. It's okay today. This is cool. When you come into this room, you can see why Mr. Reeves loved it so much. It's a very beautiful room, very elegant, very masculine. Yes, the walnut woodwork in here was never painted.
Oh,
and we don't think they ran out of white paint when they got this far. We think that out of respect for what the inventor had said, when he bought the house, he wanted everything as modern and up to date as possible before he moved the family into it. And he wanted central heating installed. When they checked into it, they realized that all the main interior walls were going to be solid brick. So the only place that they could run the heating ducts for the furnace was up through the fireplace. He had his own bathroom. And he liked to have his lunch on the porch out there with his daughters sometimes. They would come over. And he could watch the grandchildren playing. And also, probably the most important reason they put the French doors there was that if he had business dealings with
I like this big heavy magazine rack too.
folks should come back and see us at Christmas. He'd open this door. Then you had to have the combination to get these 2 hand-painted doors open. Behind it are 2 more hand-painted doors that took a separate combination. And through the years, the combinations have been lost. It was so beautiful, we wanted everybody to be able to enjoy it. And this bedroom belonged to the eldest of the 3 Reeves daughters. Her name was Louise. And there she is with her spectacles and her beautiful lace blouse. And each of the 2 older girls had their own marble sink in the corner of their room, which is a pretty nice idea. And the fireplaces upstairs are all painted white because they're all made of metal. So they painted them white to look pretty. Now this is not one that belonged to the Reeves family. This was given to us a few years ago by 2 very elderly sisters, and this was their part of their mother's tree. It actually was the middle daughter's middle bedroom. And the middle daughter was Agnes Greer, the lady who ended up with this house, and as it turned out, she never lived in the house. Her husband died very suddenly before he retired and they could move here. And she would come maybe once or twice a year and maybe spend a weekend in the house, but that's all. She ended up taking over a lot of family business interests. And this is Lillian's room. And Lillian was the youngest, so she got the smallest bedroom. You know how that goes. But Lillian also got one of the prettiest walnut beds and dressers, I think. Beautiful. And this is not Lillian. We keep hoping we'll get a picture of Lillian as a young woman, but we don't have one yet. But this young lady in my favorite rooms in the house, this is the girls' sitting room.
All the same
And then there again, I wish we had some sunshine today. It's so overcast. About 3 o'clock on a real bright sunny day, the sunlight comes in through that window on the left and it bounces the colors across the floor and up the wall. It's just beautiful. And if you're here in the evening and the windows are lit, then it's so pretty from the outside. And of course, when the girls or Mrs. Reeves or whoever was sitting there having tea or having lemonade, they could look right out the window and down on the hill through the trees at their very own steel mill. It's not too shabby. Now, this is also where their dressmakers would come to work on their clothes. So we had sewing machine in this room. And this was called the girls' sitting room. This is where the ladies in the house would be with them. This room, we don't actually know that there was one girl in here, but the darling little bed dresser was given to us a couple of years ago, so we thought we could for the maid's orders. So our maid has it pretty nice, right?
She's got a big room.
Yes. But it actually was a very nice room. It was like a bed sitting room. They had their own bathroom, which was really, really unusual back then. People were happy if they had one bathroom in the house. And the rest of the help, the gardeners, and that and the team next to the stop.
I love this. This is so pretty.
Isn't this pretty?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I wish we had some sunshine. It really should. Hunk of baby's breath for Christmas.
And curtains, yeah.
Yeah, and some sparkling. Now we're going to come right this way whenever you're ready. The master bathroom. This, of course, is the master bedroom. And over there, underneath the glass, is Mrs. Reeves' beautiful sterling silver dresser set with her monogram J.E.R. And over there is Mr. Reeves' dresser set with his monogram J.E.R. And actually, neither one of these people had a middle in the house. It's the only four that has the center design is also on the edges. And if you stand over here, right up where you are, and look up, you can see that door at the top. And one time there was an outside railing all the way around the widow's walk, and you can walk that whole stairway out that door. And when they were entertained, the men could go up there and smoke their cigars, and sort of ladies, they could go up there and breath of fresh air. Of course, the younger people go up there with the very and that's what we pump organ, and it's for Christmas time. And this is kind of an interesting piece. This is quite rare. This is called a pianola. A pianola is what they had before the player piano was invented. You had to have a regular piano to use this, so it took up a lot of space. And if you look behind it, you can see it's got this row of wooden keys back here. And what you did was push this thing across the front of your piano so that these wooden keys rested right on top of your regular piano keyboard. And then you put a music roll in here, you pumped it with your feet like a pump organ, and actually played the piano keys for you. So it was a lot of work for that piano. And this is another beautiful dress that belongs to Mrs. Reeves. She's currently very fond of lavender. And I just love this. It's one of my favorite dresses. There's so much going on with that silk, velvet, lace, all this embroidery. And over here is the gentleman's card room. Hot news game going on in there.
Porticos, trying to get out of the rain, and in and out.
On this way, the carriage will go on in. And back here's our rose garden. Yes, that was out in front of the house. I had to look wrong. And probably 2 years ago, a drunk driver hit it and it broke it. And they managed to repair it, and they decided rather to keep it inside. And the sign is in the window. You get 100 pounds of ice. It's pretty popular lately.
Yes.
I love that.
All different kinds of flowers.
They have post office, everything. Wow. Mind you, that farm, how he did that place, huh?
Yeah, he was out there.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Yeah, he had one of them. What harness? Look at that.
Reeves mother in.
Here's old Moody down in the water.
Yeah.
Work though.
Looks like that same picture they had.
This is an old portrait, huh? What's the picture, you know? Nice paint my picture of it.
That's not Mooney's stuff, right?
No, it's just isn't. Look at this.
This is a lot like
I'm not supposed to touch it.
Heritage Farm.
Yeah, Heritage Farm, right? That's the way it's set up. You'll have to go there next year when you open today. He had hundreds of flat irons. And he had one of these working, spinning wheel. Remember they were making?
Reeves making house company. Any savings and funds.
What's all these parts over here?
Blacksmith shop. Shoot.
Look at all these parts on the,
Huh?
all the different little parts. What
Oh,
are
that's just motors and stuff.
they? Gadgets and gears, huh?
Yeah. There's a casket. Look,
Somebody sent out a pic.
look at the casket over there.
Oh gosh, a coffin.
I mean, yeah.
Got a coffin over there. Well, he would like to have all this old stuff out there, wouldn't he, on that farm?
Yeah, the camera display, they got a radio display and a camera display all upstairs. We gotta go on it higher.
It's hot.
We climb more.
Yep.
I'll be ready for a snack after I do this. We step for sure. Wow. And we can take a crash the cameras.
This is just on one side, going to go see the radio.
Amateur radio station log. Take the road on the left, the other.
Stop. I didn't see post off. Look at that. Post off.
That's something that. Register letters, partial post. Where's the package? They actually got the post office. Here's the old newspaper.
Hmm.
Saturday, August 6, 1910. August 6, that's my
That's
birthday.
when Dad was born.
That's my year, that's my month and day anyway. But they're recording.
That's the horse trough.
Yeah.
Again, very modern, because all you do is turn the tap on and get your water.
Keep on. keep going. I'll take your picture. You see?
Big basket. That's your headquarters. It's the office. Oh, I see now. The windows in it. Wow, I was too close to take it.
Huh?
Landscaping things. Where do you zoom on this thing?
Huh?
Where do you zoom in now on it?
Up here to right here. Down up here.
It's alright, I'm gonna get this over here anyway.
Yeah. Just
Where the Longenberger Village will be in the year 2000. Here's the sign. Slow down a little bit. Here's the sign.
that's the whole this to the village right now. One little house.
Entrance gate.
Huh? I'm gonna go down up here though. Please ditch this fence here. Here, get the flowers. Oh, it's that bird holler now.
Yeah.
Looks like something's wrong with it. Get it there, it's on.
I'm going to get, it's
That's
not,
when you get this.
I am to come back down. I'm going to get the sun's miles this way. I can get it better, get a better picture. Now, this way. And come back down.
That's all it was. I put one of them over there.
I wouldn't doubt it. I've already got all this before. The big house over there, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
On that road.
What's that bird?
Just keep on 16 to West Lafayette and it goes back into 77 and go down south on 77, still about 4 or 5 miles back to Gulfport. People walking around, maybe something's open. There's tours. I wish we made it back at one time. Yeah, just stay here for a while. Walk around. Two-hour parking. It's got 2-hour parking.
Gonna ask these people if they're open here or not, but they. Look at all those people in that basket. Take a picture. Take a picture.
What's that?
I assumed that. Open that.
Celebrating 25 years somewhere here. But it's on next block.
That's open. Open.
There's some gas too.
I got this gas. I'll get some out there.
That's a picture anyway. Some flowers. Revs.
Depot. It's the railroad depot. Station, huh?
This not a very long battery or something on this thing now.
Too.
Working here and around.
Yeah, it says Saturday and Sunday.
Does?
Yeah. Those hours.
Oh yeah, I was busy watching this. The basket's over here. Dresden Village Association.
What are you doing there?
I'm gonna put that back behind you, see.
I'll go down the street. That's not the world's largest basket, so you already know it now.
That building is not a basket, the other building. The other one is not a...
How many cars here?
That's all, I got 25th anniversary on it.
Back up.
Tall Claire.
This is my best friend. Is she pretty?
Huh?
Over there, take pictures of big baskets. It's 25 years. Right, what Tara won.
Touch it. These went, yeah.
I went in with my list, I said I need this, and I went right over it. And I heard you really good. Thinking of it,
You made your basket in that shop?
Always you can use the basket. That's a pretty big basket, that one. Hospitality basket, I can remember that one, I like that one. There's reverse purse, I think that. That's a Clappers Club, you don't get to the club. That's so pretty. I have almost 30 of them.
I'm sure I've got more than that.
I know, most people do. Most people do. I have all. Four liners and one, and bread, and everything else.
Did you want this?
Oh, no, I was only
Put it in the back.
Okay, there's not very many, and I was afraid to put it out.
No.
This was
tiny, nice Popeyes, yeah. Dresden George collection. I like what they're made. There's you have windows, you'll see the stuff in them. That's where you make your basket, isn't it?
Let's see.
Make a basket along a burger.
Oh, where at? I'm trying to film.
You gotta admit, this is kind of cool. Called Cabernet.
Yeah.
All the shop, all the shop, so much. Thank you.
Hold your book up. Okay.
And they forgot to give me my books while ago, so good thing I went back to get a free book, see?
Oh,
And they sell for like $11. So I give, she said, we can take off, I got them. She said, we'll take them and give them gifts. I'll give Christine one. And Nita one. Don't have one.
did you get? Joan. Joan.
That too, if you're interested. I wonder if that's the 12 I saw this year.
Like here's that Christmas tree and everything.
Hmm.
We'll go all the way around. Look up here to the house. Megan liked it here. She liked all this stuff. Look at the fountain. Like they had to change it to this. Right here, I know it's Popeye. That's why he named it Downtown Popeye. We'll watch a film in a minute too. Here would talk to kids.
Each team is like a mini factory, about 40 artisans dedicated to making baskets of the finest quality. Within the team, 4 to 5 plumbers carefully craft the bottoms of the baskets. As long as the baskets are made to last, most bottoms are made with double weaving and double reinforcements. The complete bottoms are T-boards, the little wraps of maple band around the wooden form. These forms, banded in steel, are handmade by Longer Longaberger artisans the same way J.W. Longaberger crafted them years ago. The bottom is then secured in the form with a hydraulic wax. The weaver swings the weaving horse's arm into position. The weaver works the maple wood. The weaving is pulled and wrapped around the corners. A durable basket requires a tight weave. To make the weaving as tight as possible, a tamper and hammer are used to tap the weaving together. Next, the weaver turns the basket and trims the splits. This is called giving the basket a haircut. To complete the weaving process, the weaver attaches an outer band and a trim strip. The trim strip is folded under the end of the band and tacked in place. Using the tamper and hammer, the tightly woven basket is removed from the form. In the Longaberger tradition, the weaver proudly signs the bottom of the basket and records the year. One of the quality assurance inspectors checks every aspect of the basket's construction. The Longaberger Company.
Handles and furniture pieces. We then take the remaining scrap coming off the veneering operation and we use that in our boiler for fuel to fuel the boiler to cook the logs. And any remaining pieces then go into our other chipper and we sell those chips to make pallets in the area.
This is the dye room, where hardwood maple weaving takes on Longaberger's famous colors. The process of coloring the weaves begins in the dye tanks. Heated by natural gas burners to about 135 degrees, there are 31 dye tanks. The writ dye is measured into the tank. Using rubber gloves, members of the dye crew place weaving into the tanks and then work the weaving for about 3 hours to ensure uniform color saturation. The dyeing process is more an art than a science. Humidity and outside temperatures can affect how the dye takes. As the dyeing nears completion, a sample is pulled from the tank, quickly dried, and checked for the correct shade of color. Only after the weaving is just the right color is it removed from the tank and placed on steel horses to drip dry. After about an hour, the colored weaving is then taken to the rinse table, where it is washed by hose to remove excess dye. Next, a cold water bath of calcium chloride fixes the dye to seal the color into the wood. Following the bath, the weaving is again rinsed. Then the material is dried to prepare it for shipment to Dresden. By the way, much of the water used in the dye room is recycled, helping to ensure a cleaner environment.
I'm very proud to be a part of the Hartville facility and we will continue to strive to meet the high quality standards that have been set forth from the log yard veneering to the sawmill, to the dye room, right through the basket making process here in Hartville. We will continue to meet the quality standards that JW has set up along with the Longaberger family and to also meet the high quality that our customer knows and loves.
From the forest to the log yard, to the veneering operation, to the dye room, the Longaberger Company's Hartville, Ohio facility produces materials of the highest quality for America's finest baskets. Baskets crafted right here at the Hartville plant and in the basket capital of the world, Dresden. The story of Longaberger baskets dates from the turn of the century when flight was a novelty, motor cars had rumble seats, and life was unhurried. In tiny Dresden, Ohio, Daddy John Longaberger was making baskets for the community's pottery industry. His boy, John Windle, learned how to select a straight maple and to craft a tight weave. Years later, John Wendell, known as J.W. Longenberger, continued the family basket tradition, working in a shop owned by local businessman Guy Ryan. The baskets he carefully crafted brought him recognition as the region's master basket maker. During the 1920s, J.W. courted and in 1927 married a local girl, Bonnie Jean Gist. A few years later, Mr. Ryan decided to get out of the basket business and sold his shop and the accompanying house to J.W. and Bonnie Longenberger for $1,900. Calling his business the Ohio Ware Company, J.W. made quality baskets for area townspeople and for farmers around Dresden, often trading the baskets for eggs, milk, and bread.
He'd go down the shop, take me to the radio, and he'd be down there all day. But he liked to make baskets, and he made good baskets. You could hear all the soap operas down there, people screaming and shooting, and when you go past, that's about all that was on in the afternoon. It'd be soap operas. The oldest girl and the two boys, Jerry and Larry, helped him. And Rich and Popeye would, well, they'd lay bottoms for the pottery baskets, if they could catch them. Because Dave never was home. He was gone. Tommy could walk. And Richie, he'd help some. But you had to catch him before they got away.
J.W. passed away in 1973, but he left behind a legacy of family pride, hard work, and a strong belief in the American dream. All 12 of J.W.'s children have been successful in their chosen fields, but the continuation of the family's basket-making heritage was picked up by the fifth child, Dave Longenberger, known since childhood as Popeye.
Dave was 3 weeks old before I named him. And his grandfather, or we call him Daddy John, was up, and he said, well, just call him Popeye. He's got big brown eyes and they kind of stick out, so that's what we did. For a couple of weeks we called him Popeye. Then I decided to call him David Wendell, after his dad, and he's my dad.
Of the 12 Longenberger children, he was thought to be the least likely to succeed. He repeated 5th grade 3 times, and when eventually graduated from high school, read at a 7th grade level. He stuttered so badly, most people couldn't understand a word he was saying.
No, when I finally finished school, and I had to take a good look at myself, and what I saw, I thought a lot of insecurity there, and I thought, oh my God, what am I going to do? So as soon as I finished school, I took a job for a brush, going door to door. This was an unbelievable experience.
Later, after serving in the Army, he drove a bakery truck delivering bread to local grocery stores, and when the old Dresden Dairy Bar Diner came up for sale, a friend co-signed the loan and Dave bought it. The diner had 2 booths, 2 tables, and 8 stools. Dave named it Popeye's. Business was brisk. Dave was making money. He bought the defunct A&P grocery in town, remodeled and expanded the building, and opened the Dresden IGA food liner.
The rest of the store was doing fine, but I knew there was something else that I had to do. And I started searching around for something else because I wanted to take the experience and the talent that I had learned through the store and the restaurant to do something else. So in my search, I noticed a large department store. There was bigger and bigger display. The baskets, they were all foreign baskets. And I thought, my heavens, Dad's baskets are 10 times better than these. But I knew there's no way that we could compete with the foreign baskets. So I continued my search of looking for something else to do, but I couldn't get Dad's baskets out of my mind.
Deciding to give baskets a try, Dave dug out his dad's old basket forms, and some of his friends were taught to weave. Longenberger Baskets was in business.
We started out selling in shops, but we couldn't tell the story. Selling the shops couldn't tell the Longenberger story that I wanted told about Mom and Dad and the 12 kids, my brothers and sisters there. So, and I knew that we had a good good merchandising basket, and I knew we needed a good marketing story. If we could come up with some way that we could tell the purpose of these baskets. I came across three things. It seemed like the more I could get my customers to trust me, and the more comfortable that they felt with me, and the more they understood my sense of humor, I sold more products. They felt comfortable, and I felt comfortable, and the less stuttering that I've done. The home party plans, the way it's out, oh my God, I thought my mind was going to explode. This is the way to sell. And the rest is history.
Through the leadership of Dave's daughters, Tammy and Rachel, the Longaberger Company is quickly becoming one of the nation's largest and most successful direct selling enterprises. And here in Dresden, the Longaberger family continues the traditions of quality basket making, a tradition rooted deep in the American heartland. At the Longaberger Company, our craftspeople make baskets today much the way J.W. Longaberger made them 50 years ago, by hand and with lots of down-home pride. The creation of a Longaberger basket begins here with the sawmen who cut strips of hardwood maple into various lengths needed for weaving and splints. Meanwhile, the stampers burn into the bottom reinforcements the famous Longaberger logo. Then, as materials become available, team support clerks gather up the splints and weaves and take them to their respective basket-making teams. Each team is like a mini factory, about 40 artisans dedicated to making baskets of the finest quality. Within the team, 4 to 5 formers carefully craft the bottoms of the baskets. Since Longaberger baskets are made to last, most bottoms are made with double weaving and double reinforcements. The completed bottoms are taken to one of the 30 or so weavers on the team. At a weaving horse, the weaver wraps a maple band around a wooden form. These forms, banded in steel, are handmade by Longaberger artisans the same way J.W. Longaberger crafted them years ago. The bottom is then secured on the form with a hydraulic vise. The weaver swings the weaving horse's arm into position for weaving. The over and under process of weaving hasn't changed for hundreds of years. As the weaver works the maple wood, the weaving is pulled and wrapped around the corners. A durable basket requires a tight weave. To make the weaving as tight as possible, a tamper and hammer are used to tap the weaving together. Next, the weaver turns the basket and trims the splints. This is called giving the basket a haircut.
This is one long building.
1/4 mile long walkway.
It's 1/4 mile. Then the walkway upstairs. And nice little lake here.
This
hot tub must have been there or something.
Deep as a sucker.
Mm-hmm. That is real deep hole.
Shopping. Got it back. You want to love those homes? You check them out. Look at these birch trees and everything. So really. See them very often. They go down to the radar. Get some birch trees. Birches, so pretty. You sell them too.
Some out there. No. Let's go out there. Get your picture taken by a birch tree. Go around behind.
Oh, it's so smooth. Have a good around. I think it has. Oh, dude, this is real.
Now, what is it? It's about it.
Smooth. Feels like it's been sanded. Gosh, it's beautiful. It's the biggest birch tree I think I've seen.
No. No, I don't want to wreck him.
Like that. This is pretty light.
Where you going? There's that thing out there. What's over there? That's way over there. See where you were before we go.
Okay.
You didn't see it?
I was trying to watch that car. He's going out the jet ski.
Yep. It's right over there. See, it says tours.
I go to jet ski first.
Oh boy, look at that thing. Quick pickup. Double cab. Yeah, let's go. Oh, no way out here. Different place. Take off any direction. You can go to the lodge this way if you want to.
2 miles though.
Did we go the right way? Had to have done.
I only had one way in.
And you go out here, you go to the lodge this way.
No, Lodge is back the other way. The
No,
airport.
so what is
Yeah,
it?
like we came, 2 miles.
I misread that. It said it's 0.6 miles. I thought it said 6 miles. Well, then my God, this place is big. Now I'm telling on the video how dumb I was.
Well, it's big anyway. I don't care.
Here's a loopy-loop.
There's a playground. And they'll be cool.
Even these you can put a motor home.
Oh, yeah, that's motorhouse.
You couldn't park very good.
You got water fountains and water hoses.
Gray water, gray air.
All the hookups they all have.
Let's make this little loop come back up. He's fine. I'm trying to do nobody out here. Yep, so let's go on down some of these others. I can see like better, I bet. That's neat.
Oh, it's nice.
I better stay here on KOA.
They got some pretty long pull back. It's handicapped on there. Leave up to the handicap. Got nature trails. It'd be a good place to bring jet skis and all. Come on.
Yeah, nice wash house and all
Got
that.
Coca-Colas too. Look at that. Look at a nice view of it. Oh, on the highway. I guess you have to ride on the side.
No,
That's
it's
just
a walking trail.
That's a walking trail only. That's right.
It's handicapped.
Oh, bro. Just ride out here and look in the woods a little bit, I guess. Go back. Who's down in there? It's a walking trail. That's neat. Down here now. Let's go on this side.
We can see that on the side of the road. That's
Got motor home out here. Motor home here. A nice play area.
keep going, man, don't you? Water,
Oh, that's nice.
clear water.
They must fill them up from the back up, you know, what looks like motorhomes here. Now this is where all they've got them all full of. Look all that back through there.
Yeah. They're just everywhere, huh?
Got nice big wash houses there too.
This must be it. Think?
Got 212
No.
of them. They got tents over here or something. Look at the tents. They give you a picnic table with your tent area. You can rent, I guess.
Yeah, you can rent the tent.
The trees that they're playing horseshoeing on. It's neat up there. This is a beautiful weekend at Camp Down. You can come down here and put your jet ski in, probably. And boat dog. So look, this is neat. But all over the campground.
They got big old ducks.
Oh, look at all those geese. They used to not be plentiful. Now they're everywhere. Somebody's out in the canoe out here now.
That's that little boy.
That's chasing one. Someone's got some baby ones over here, medium size. Have you seen them?
I'm gonna run. Watch out, boy, he's crazy.
That's a good scene, though. Just trying to get him in the water. They got swings and sand down here. They can play in the water, look.
That's a little beach.
Yeah, got a little beach for the campground.
What's that? That's it. And the house there. Well, why'd you move for? Well, that's all right. They have telling you.